Hello everyone, my name's Matt Johnston and this show is called The Interesting Times, a comedic political show from the UK. We're back after a month or so of being away. What have we missed? Unfortunately, nothing. We haven't missed any of it. But let's have a recap anyway. I last broadcast back in mid-August, and since then, well, the number of migrants crossing the channel in small boats passed 50,000 since Labour came into power. And although Starmer has a one-in, one-out deal with France, not one migrant was deported until Thursday, making it 100% more effective than the Rwanda scheme, although that may have been lost in all the hoo-ha of Operation Raise the Colours, which involves putting up the St George's Cross and Union flag wherever there's a lamppost, and indeed wherever there isn't one. In fact, it involves painting a red cross on anywhere you see a big white empty space, which is why so many Reform voters have it painted on their head. Thank you, good to be back. Then, at the end of August, the Tories and Reform started to go after Angela Rayner, claiming that she had avoided £40,000 stamp duty on the sale of her home in Ashton-under-Lyne, saying it was disgraceful, and if she was going to avoid paying tax and lying about it, she should at least join the Conservative Party. She resigned. Zach Polanski became the leader of the Green Party, which meant the press were all ready to grill him with the important issue of the day, be that cost of living.
Why won't either of you articulate a clear, unequivocal definition of what it is to be a woman?
Crime, the NHS.
Carlia Denia says trans women are women. Adrian Ramsey, the other leader, won't say whether he believes trans women are women.
Or the slow descent of true Western values at the hands of a bunch of evil, wealthy, far-right maniacs intent on eradicating every sort of right protest and dissenting voice that doesn't bow in complete servitude to their every thought. Speaking of which...
Well, he's here, he's touched down. Donald Trump is in the United Kingdom.
Surprised you didn't bow, Charlie boy. And it wasn't just, rather worryingly, the elected and unelected heads of our country that were ready to swear to the Orange Emperor's refinery. The press also sucked up to him. Well, they would have done if they had gotten close enough.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, is at Windsor Castle tonight preparing for a state banquet hosted by the King and Queen after a day of pomp and pageantry.
Yesterday, Donald Trump could have chosen anybody in the entire world to go to first for a question. He chose you. How did that feel?
But make no mistake, Marine, we're doing quite well because Trump has decided to look favourably upon us.
It's the morning after the state banquet and that electrifying speech by Donald Trump. I was at Windsor Castle to hear it, and to be honest, I was blown away.
And this is the most awesome vehicle, bulletproof glass, bomb-proof, and quite a sight to behold, especially against the backdrop of Windsor Castle.
Salute them as they go by. Sincerely am. What a magnificent moment, Rafe.
You do know that only one of those cars has a president in, right? I guess I'm just thankful that Martin Daubney chose that particular right-handed salute. Okay, so let's have a look at this speech to end all speeches.
We're joined by history and fate, and by love and language, and by transcendent ties of culture, tradition, ancestry, and destiny. We're like two notes in one chord, or two verses of the same poem.
Wow. Inspiring. He's reading that with all the passion and enthusiasm of a home insurance's terms and conditions. Then Starmer and Trump sat down behind a ridiculously small table, like they were about to referee a table tennis match, to sign the tech prosperity deal, which is a deal about tech, the prosperity of tech. There you go. Hope that helps.
Deal struck between the UK and the US to work together on fast-growing technology, which will mean billions and billions of pounds invested in this country by US companies building things like supercomputers and data centers.
Details are a little bit sparse. I think not much of this is surprising. So we're seeing a big move from AI and tech-related businesses. That's not surprising. And we're also seeing expansion in the defense sector and the pharmaceutical sector.
Is there a danger that the UK is giving up its digital sovereignty, though, by doing so many deals with US companies like Microsoft?
You should be mindful of is we are making this capital investment in the UK soil, right? So these are AI factories, cloud factories that are very much part of the infrastructure of the United Kingdom. And so you have now trusted American technology that UK can use and companies across the UK can use to create more technology for the United Kingdom and for the United States and the world.
Okay, Bond villain or Batman villain, pick a look. So basically, we are handing over our credit card details and mother's maiden name to a thin-skinned criminal and his tech bros to decide what we can and can't do, say, and indeed anything else. Have I got that right? And before everyone says, well, come on, Matt. Yes, the US is going through something of a constitutional upheaval at the moment. But that's over there, and we're over here. There are no similarities, none. It's not like it really signifies who we are as countries and the values that we share.
And so this trade deal, I think, signifies something much more than just trade and investment. It signifies who we are as countries and the values that we share.
Or that we are closely aligned.
This is a great deal for both of our countries and for the world because it shows two countries more closely aligned, that won't be torn apart.
Oh, she's just being diplomatic. Let's get some reassurance from the top man.
Melania and I are tremendously thankful.
No, the other top man.
And on free speech, that has long lived in this country, free speech. It's one of the founding values of the United Kingdom, and we protect it jealously and fiercely.
Exactly. Thank you, Sir Keir. We have had freedom of speech for a very long time, and we will always protect it. There is a small matter of arresting 4 people over projecting readily available images and videos of Trump and Epstein together on the side of Windsor Castle, as well as the police seizing an ad van with the same images that was travelling around Windsor, as well as stopping an Australian network from appearing at a press conference in the UK as they had asked a perfectly reasonable question at the White House. And the small matter of the president boasting about getting an elected UK representative banned from a state function. And the considerably larger matter of having hundreds of Palestine Action supporters arrested for writing stuff on signs and placards. But apart from that, honestly, I think you've nailed it. Which is, of course, the only part of the video I suspect will survive the censorship. The tech prosperity deal between the UK and US will allow American tech companies to invest in the UK's AI systems. Companies like Microsoft, Google and Meta, but also from Blackstone, which is essentially a private equity firm, and Palantir will invest in some £1.5 billion to UK's defence. Palantir, a data harvesting company, like with Facebook and more frighteningly the NHS, and was started by Peter Thiel, a white South African who doesn't believe in freedom and democracy. Why does that sound familiar? And also with Blackstone, a company whose CEO is a donator to Donald Trump and was chairman of his strategic and policy forum during his first term. Basically, it's a deal for our data in the short term and for our NHS in the longer term. And all it's cost us is our dignity. Ha! Joke's on you, America, we gave that up with Brexit. Still, for all the far-right fascist fawning, it seems there are still some politicians in this country that have principles. Liberal Democrats Ed Davey was invited to the disgusting opulence that was the £15 million meal. Not bad for a party looking to cut the welfare bill. You know you could have given him a Big Mac, right? He would have been happy with that. Anyway, the Lib Dems leader declined the invitation in support of the genocide in Gaza. And ironically, he's never been on TV so much.
Who you can see their skeletons because they're thin because of starvation.
The lifeless bodies of children killed while they were queuing for water.
Hamas is a genocidal organisation. Let's condemn Hamas, right? It's in their constitution, they're genocidal. But the Netanyahu government is behaving in a genocidal way.
There is a genocide.
Yes, well said. Then there's the Greens' new leader, Zach Polanski. I'm sorry, I think that name makes him sound like a New York private investigator. It was a dark and dirty night on the streets and in the rivers. because of unacceptable contamination by big conglomerates and lack of investment by greedy shareholders. So, he showed up on Good Morning Britain to voice his displeasure at this state visit, and sat opposite him was Penny Mordaunt, ex-Conservative MP and basically Liz Truss with a military record.
Are you comfortable with the most powerful man on earth banning books, militarising the police, damaging women's reproductive
Zach, that's
rights?
not the point. I mean, the thing is, Zach, you're now the leader of a political party. You're not the president of a student union.
Hope you're paying attention. Otherwise, you may have missed a democratically elected MP and leader of a party being accused of playing student politics from someone that is no longer an MP and has never led a party. And this, honestly, calling it all student or sixth form politics because you aren't bending over backwards or even forwards to hustle for every deal you can, is a lazy and wholly inaccurate response. I mean, I get it. We want money. They've got money. And if I was one of those car manufacturers working in the UK, I wouldn't care if Starmer covered himself with barbecue sauce or Denise Lascelles lick it before you stick it's being played in the background, if it meant you could keep hold of your job. But there is genuinely a price to pay here. You suck up to a racist and racism will start to spread across the country. We have seen that. You're also broadcasting your desperation to other countries, meaning they will be ready to take advantage of you, maybe even hold out for a better deal. And Trump has a tendency to renege on deals anyway. But the number one reason to not say how high when someone like Trump says jump is that Trump is many things. Racist, rapist, misogynist, maybe paedophile. But the reason he's still walking around not only a free man, but the most powerful man in the world is because he's a bully. And capitulating to bullies never works. It just makes them come back for more. Look, £150 million investment is great. 7,500 jobs in this country, fantastic. But for the companies themselves, we are handing over our online data, our NHS data, and even large parts of military data. This isn't an investment, it's an invasion by companies that want you to believe they know what's best for you, and by a president that demands adoration and punishes dissent. It was the richest, most powerful and influential people at that banquet, but it was the rest of us paupers who have to be force-fed this crap. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to subscribe, like, share and comment. And I'll see you all soon. Take care.